Hello, my name is Alan. My pronouns are he, him. And tonight I am facilitating the first of a second two-shot in July 2022. The first of a second two-shot of my PBTA game in development of Dark Age Heroes called Eotenweard. If you want to know more about Eotenweard, I would refer you to the playlist to which this will belong when we've finished. Needless to say, this is set in the Dark Ages. It's set in the northeast of England in what was the Kingdom of Northumbria. And the players are heroes who are going to confront the supernatural and or protect the innocent. And really, I don't want to say much more than that, apart from to say that we are playing as part of the Gauntlet online community. If you don't know about the Gauntlet, please search Gauntlet-RPG. I'm told Gauntlet is difficult to spell, so look it up, is my advice. Gauntlet-RPG will find us. And if you want to come and play with us, we have a weekend of 1 and 2 shots in September, the date of which now escapes me, but it's in mid-September, called Gauntlet Open Gaming. It's called Gauntlet Community Open Gaming. Again, search that if you want to come and find us and have a play. We are playing with some safety tools. We're playing with lines and veils. Lines are things that won't come up in the fiction. Veils are things that may come up, but we will draw a discrete veil so they don't appear on screen. We're also playing with the X card. So, just to be clear with the players, if at any point you feel uncomfortable with where the narrative's going or what's come up, you can play the X card at any time. The simplest way to play the X card is to just make it visible to me, because I tend to be focused on the pictures, the video I've got coming through from you. But failing that, if you prefer to put it in the chat, the Zoom chat, put it there. If I don't appear to react to it, I'd ask the other players to draw my attention to it. If you play the X card, I don't expect you to tell me why you've triggered the X card. I just need to know how far back in the fiction I need to go to run forward to avoid whatever it was that made you feel a bit uncomfortable. And this could be, I've had people play the X card because I happen to name a non-player character after a relative, and then they start doing bad things. So, that it's easy to solve. The objective is to make sure that we're all comfortable and enjoying ourselves. And let me also stress that if something comes up and you think, oh, I'm okay with that, and it comes up again and you think, actually, I wish I'd X-carded that, then X-card it. Just because you didn't X-card it the first time doesn't mean you can't X-card it later in the fiction, later in the session or in the series of sessions. We're also playing with the open door. The open door is there so that if something comes up and you need to go and deal with it, go and deal with it, right? We'd like to know if you're going to be back in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If you can let us know, that's great. But otherwise, we'll expect you when we see you. We'll carry on playing and hope you get back to us. But equally, the open door is there. If this turns out not to be the game you'd hoped it would be, then the open door is there for you to go and do something more enjoyable, right? Because there is no sense in which, having signed up for this, you need to kind of see it through. If this isn't your game, please don't stay. We will use a debrief at the end called Stars and Wishes, just again to get a feel for how the session went and whether there's anything you want to change or see more of or see less of in the next one. And finally, we are playing within the Gauntlet Community's Code of Conduct, which is a great document, and I recommend anyone playing regularly online to look at it and use it as the basis of their own rules of engagement, because, it makes for more fun. So that's me done. Let me just say to the players, I've put some preliminary lines and veils in on the Lines and Veils tab. Please go ahead and add to those. Turn any veils into lines. And if you are particularly interested in something or want me to check in before we go somewhere, then put ask first. And there's some space to write in some additional ones. Use that space to put things that haven't come up yet or I haven't thought about. And also on that tab, there is a romance in game checkbox set. It would be good to know, folks, if you are content for there to be romance either between PCs or between pieces and NPCs, or whether you prefer not to have your character engaged in any romance. And, we will all honor that. So with that in mind, let me then go to our heroes. I'm going to come to Sean last because he's the person who hasn't played this game before. So that means that I'm going to run from right to left. Yes, that's right. So I'm going to start with Sabine. Sabine, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Cynderyn.
Yeah, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm going to play Cynderyn, who is a changeling. And he is in the human world now because humans are fun little things and they have fun little things. And Cynderyn loves to have fun little things, right? Just saying, yes. Yes, he's quite pretty and slightly easy to anger. More easy than you might imagine.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about at this point?
I don't know. Is there anything he is tempted by greed? Because that's his burden, because that is so fun. And his gift is Pain's Balm. He can heal people because that is just easy, right?
Time will tell. Okay, let me move along to Blake. Blake, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Wulfwynn.
G'day, I'm Blake here, him. I'm playing Wulfwynn the Storyteller, she, her. Just a mechanical note, Alan, I've still got Sloth and Lost activated from last time, or?
Yeah, I think I'll probably get rid of those, but leave them there for now.
Okay.
Anything else you want to tell us?
Yeah, she's got a little harp and likes to play music when you're traveling.
Thank you. Skipping along, Chris, say hello, tell us your pronouns, introduce us to Sadhbh.
Hi, I'm Chris, pronouns he, him. Sadhbh rhymes with 5. Pronouns she, her. She's the Celtic Mystic. She was able to help some Celtic druids last time, so she's gained another standing as well as Celtic Mystic as righter of wrongs. She's burdened by pride. Being a Celtic Mystic, this is something that she holds on to all of the time. She is in debt to the old gods quite a bit. And as a result, I don't know if that debt carries over, but as a result, she dipped into asking Woden the Allfather for some help as well. So she's dealing a little bit with that conflict, and she can cast miracles and wonders in order to call on the gods' help and power to do a variety of things, ranging from banishing a spirit to moving objects, etc. And she has really been so far looking at the other PCs as tools to help her in her quest to remove blights from the land and honor the Celtic gods.
Great, thank you for that. And then moving on, Sean, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and introduce us to Brannoc the Loon.
Yes, so I'm Sean, he, him. I am playing Brannoc the Loon. He, of course, is a slightly different than I think the other characters. He's a follower of Christ. He floppy, dirty hat, red, crusty beard, a kind of like former drunk, lecher, beggar, who's kind of found his way in the world and seems to have found his way into these new companions. He's relatively new, so he has no burdens, but I'm sure we can soon burden him with something or other and make him a little bit more interesting.
That's great, thank you. And I suppose that's where we'll start, I think, because I am curious, Brannoc. You were given the gift of true path. Sometimes the Christ God shows you the true path when the way is unclear. And I'm curious, what has brought you to these other three? What has Christ said to you, or what have you interpreted?
Sure. So can I get maybe just a little background around what these three have been doing, or what the kind of like narrative arc is.
Okay, so I think all you need to know at this point, I think,
Yeah.
is that you've been led to them by Christ.
Okay.
Right? Each of them, we will discover, have been given a gift by their god or gods. And so what I suppose I'm interested in is, given that one of them is a pagan Britain, one of the and one of them is a pagan Saxon, and I'm curious, Cynderyn, what do you appear to be? Because you have a seeming.
Oh, I think I appear to be a Celtic pagan.
Fine.
For certainly I'm not. For certainly I'm no Christian. Cannot
Fine.
stand the sound of church bells.
So the question becomes, Brannoc, why would Christ give you a gift?
Sure.
And then guide you to this motley band?
I think the idea is, of course, that I'm supposed to bring them closer to Christ. I'm supposed to kind of see their powers, see their ways, see their kind of abilities, and guide them towards the true one God. Obviously, I mean, what could the other answer be? I feel like that is the one answer. If I know the true path, I will sort of try to guide them to the true path as well. Not in a intense or malicious way, but in a kind of subtle and kind of, wild way almost.
I know, I like that. I like that. So that's why you've been brought here. I am curious, Cynderyn, because you have you channel the power not so much from the old gods as from your Fae Lord.
Yes.
So I am again curious, what brings you into this company?
Oh, my queen said I should go and follow that song that the Selkies heard, and now I'm here following the song because that's what my queen told me to do, and I will not be disobeying my queen. Hello, I don't want to be frog for the next 30,000 millennia.
So the Fae are talking about the storyteller, the player of songs.
Yeah, I mean, she is respected by Fae, isn't she?
She is. And so that puts you on the same track. Fine, that works for me. Wulfwynn, I'm curious about your reaction to Cynderyn. We don't have secrets in this game, so you know that Cynderyn is Fae, though they may seem entirely mortal. What's your reaction to Cynderyn?
Oh, it's nice to have someone to talk to and get some attention, and pretty much after being, strapped to that stone by shadow magic stuff, everything's better than that, so things are looking up. It's all good.
Well, I mean, this neatly ties in to your question about what happens to the temptations that you carried away from the previous settlement. I think there's an opportunity here to seek solace in the friendship of Cynderyn.
Am I still wounded, by the way?
No, you can get rid of those. I'm not interested in worrying about those. So that's on the basic moves tab down there across on row R. When you share your woes with another hero in the hope you can put a temptation behind you and clear it, roll plus soul. But which temptation do you want to be rid of most?
Yeah, because I had sloth and lust, so so I have to get rid of lust first.
There you go then.
Yeah, so I'll describe what happened last time, and without trying to make myself look so bad, and sort of flirt a bit. See if this person's happy to do that.
The dice roller is on the lines and veils tab.
Yep, and I roll plus soul. I'm rolling with a minus already. Excellent. 4.
Will you look at that?
And we're off again.
Yeah. This dice roller loves you no better this week than last. So what it says on 6-, they were patient with you, but you have not found value in their counsel. Do not clear a temptation, and you cannot seek solace with them until you leave the upcoming settlement. Cynderyn, what was your reaction that led to that?
It was probably, I was asking you what trophy you took from this adventure. What treasure you found? That was what I was interested in. The physical material goods that you took. And if you said you didn't take any, then I will totally commiserate with you about the lack of things you got from this whole thing. And after you kind of worked so hard, you should have been given the thing, at least one of these stones, maybe.
Yeah, that's cold. That's cold. So the best laid plans, Wulfwynn, what can I tell you? You thought you had a fan. Turns out they're not that welcoming a fan.
He's trying to help here.
Yes, in that attractively fey way. Of course he is. Sadhbh, I'm curious. You know, you are currently carrying a temptation, the temptation of lust. I wonder whether you are at all attracted to Brannoc, and if so, in what way, and whether you want to try to trigger seek solace in friendship.
Yeah. So, is there anything more about Brannoc that you could share, Sean? Any potential little hook that I could think about?
Sure, something that you'd be attracted to.
Yeah, or
Yeah, we've all
repulsed
seen
by.
the picture.
Yeah.
So what is it in his personality?
Yes, I was going to say. I mean, he's quite charming in a certain way. You know, he does as he wants. I mean, there is really no rule that he will kind of bend to, and I think there's a certain kind of person that would be attracted to that. He measures himself by himself, and he, you know, doesn't let the kind of situation as it is sort of dictate who he is. He kind of dictates the situation. And I think that can be attractive to most people. He walks in with a sort of high level of confidence, even if it's a kind of, you know, sort of wild confidence that doesn't translate directly to, per se, combat or something, but in social situations finds his way, or sort of determines his way and just sort of, you know, makes it through. So I feel like that could be attractive, and I think on the right kind of person, that could be, you know, an admirable attribute.
Completely. And I hope you don't mind if I ask, this is in a way character development, and I'm not trying to be presumptuous. Do you, if you were going to say that he had any kind of occupation or hobby, like for example, Sadhbh was a farmer type, you know, agricultural type, like, does he do anything? Is he a beggar? Does he tell story? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So
if I had to...
I had this vision that he was a kind of a former gambler, a former lecher, a former sort of drunk who finds Christ and becomes something different. I mean, he still sort of holds on to that heavy baggage of being, you know, a very sort of intense, you know, ridden hard and put away wet sort of individual. And although you may not think that would be attractive to a farmer, I think, again, it could be a kind of opposites attracts kind of situation where he's not held by society to, you know, work in the fields or sort of do those things. He just kind of does as he wishes and, you know, walks into town and kind of just sort of makes his way and, you know, steals or barters for some food and takes a handout. And then all of a sudden he's sitting at the high table, you know, with the sort of the Duke or Duchess of the King or whoever the sort of royalty of the space is, you know, speaking about Christ and sort of trying to find a way to sort of bring them closer towards the one true God, I would say. So I think that kind of quality or character could be, yeah, kind of almost a fire that a certain person could be attracted to. But
that makes it
practical, yeah, practical skills maybe a little less so.
So yeah, she's I think Sadhbh is going to look at him as, well, he was supple enough and flexible enough to allow Christ to get influence over him. There's still some potential leverage and handholds that she could get, because maybe this guy really is not as sincere in his belief as he thinks he is. I mean, it's just that he was caught at the right moment. So she is definitely going to welcome him, and as a way of trying to get in a little bit of allegiance with him, she's going to smack talk about the fighter who was helping protect them, who has just up and abandoned them for some reason. Osbjorn, bizarre supernatural, believer in vampires. I mean, really did was get us caught up with a bunch of Roman soldiers and get me pulled down by some skeletons. And of course I needed to take care of them. I mean, she's sort of twisting the truth here. So I think those are the woes that she is. And she's so glad to have somebody like him, who's clearly got a really smart head on his shoulders. You'll be able to help us. You'll be able to help us make some decisions. Is that okay, Alan? All righty. Here we go. So plus soul. So I've got a +2. And just hit these 2 dice right here. So I got a 6.
So
not wonderful rolls here.
no, I'm seeing a 7. Is anybody else?
Yeah, you've got a 7 and plus
I'm
Oh,
seeing
I
a 4 and a
apologize.
3.
I forgot how this worked. I just played Forged in the Dark game yesterday. Okay, so I have a 7 + 2, so I have a 9, right?
Fine. So
Okay.
7 plus, clear the temptation. So lust goes. So he's no longer, he might have been a possibility, but he's, lust is cleared. 7 to 9, recognize the wise counsel they have provided and honor their heritage. Owe their gods a debt. What is it, Brannoc, that you say to Sadhbh that leaves her thinking the Christ God might have something to offer?
What would I say? I would say something like, Christ is the shepherd. We have to move towards him. He is the one true light. We find ourselves in shadow without him. And I would just sort of impress upon her the sort of beauty and the majesty, and the fact that he, being the Son of God, is really the sort of shepherd of all, right? That he can kind of bring in everyone. And so from, this sort of Fae being to that sort of Fae being, everything is, under the purview of this one God. I imagine that's something what I would say.
That's
Yeah,
difficult to resist.
Yeah, she probably, she was surprised by his charm and thought, oh, well, one of like Woden has brought him here, but clearly he sounds much more compelled than I realized. And just quick question, do I clear the old debts that, or
I'm
do we
afraid
carry
not. I was just adding them in.
Okay, that's much juicier if you keep them in there. Yeah, otherwise.
Absolutely. You can always accept a temptation, of course, but let's not do that immediately. So yeah, you are in hock to everyone. It's you are something. And what the old gods are making of you at the moment, I cannot imagine. So yes, so that gives us something to be working with. I just wanted to check, Sean, can you choose a move on roll 39? I owe you one more playbook move.
I chose speaking in tongues because it seems as if it sort of keeps with the theme.
Okay, love it. So let's go to Thrydingas then. So Thrydingas, I want to know from each of you what sign, portent, dream, vision leads you to believe that Thrydingas is where you should be. So I'm going to stick with the same broad order. I'm going to start with Cynderyn. Why Thrydingas? I mean, you've been told to go with the group, so maybe that's it.
Oh, and also there is a patch of holly trees that is growing in a very particular order. And that tells me, yeah, you need to go there, because otherwise you would have to take the other road, and that would lead to a lot of trouble. Just a lot of trouble. Would involve krakens and sea journey. So no, we're going to the holly trees. That is fine.
Wulfwynn, what about you? What do you think why are the gods sending you to
I think we were
Thrydingas?
kind of around the campfire talking about sort of where to go next, and I turned around 3 times and there was a raven in my peripheral vision each time, and I'm like, Is it one or is it a bunch of them? What's going on?
Fine. Guided by ravens. Sadhbh, what about you? And I'm
Yeah,
curious whether this vision you identify as coming from the old gods or from the Allfather or even from Christ.
yeah. I was. Does it have to be a vision, or can it be practical?
No.
Yeah.
Signs and portents, anything you like.
Yeah, I think Sadhbh is feeling the pressure of the debt to the old gods and is looking. So she was really puffed up in the previous two shot, and she's perhaps her pride is turning into a sort of it's turning inward. She's feeling really pretty overwhelmed, and so it's a little bit more of a seething, lost feeling. And so she, instead of looking to God, she's looking to other mortals, and that's kind of the edge that the loon has at the moment,
Fine.
because she's really not sure what to do. She's really not confident in her past choices because of the debt that she's accrued.
Fine. Because why would they, old gods, have put you in this position?
That's right. That's right.
Can you even trust them anymore?
That's right.
Fine. And last but not least, Brannoc. Why Thrydingas? Is it to do with the others, or is it something specific that a sign and portent leads you to this place?
I imagine after a kind of drunken bender, because he's still, of course, a man who likes to drink, that he sort of wakes up, half, almost like, 3 sheets to the wind, looking up at the stars, and he sees this almost like celestial vision of St. James on this white horse, sort of galloping towards the city. And he finds himself sort of obviously drawn to this vision and perhaps following this path, this is where he comes upon his new companions.
Brilliant. Fine. So let's cut to the settlement of Thrydingas. Again, not an enormous village, but a self-sufficient one. And in the middle of the village is the great hall, where you will seek a degree of hospitality. This is a game in development, so you will notice this has changed from last time. For reasons some of you will explain, I'm trying to get rid of reputation now I've invented it. But anyway, so if you go to the arriving and leaving tab, you will find seek hospitality. And this no longer requires a roll, this requires a conversation. So you will be welcomed at the hall by the Lord and his lady, and ushered in once you leave your weapons at the door, because strong drink and sharp implements do not mix. Of course, you all get to keep your knife, and Brannoc, it's just an eating knife. You're not dangerous with that, surely. So what I want you to agree is, which of the bullet points there do you want to be the inciting incident? Is there going to be a heated conversation between NPCs in the hall or somewhere else? Is something unusual going to happen, or are the doors of the hall going to burst open? Or is there something else that you have in mind? So who wants to offer me up a suggestion so the others can argue the toss for or against? Chris, what do you think Sadhbh is going to see over her meal?
So I think that I guess the question is how much detail I can provide, as much detail as I'd like here.
No, you are simply going to pick what it says in one of those bullet points or invent something else. You can't add any detail.
That's cool. Yeah, good. That was too much pressure. Something unusual happens.
Something unusual. Okay, now we get pressure. So what I'm going to do is ask each of you a question about something unusual, unless somebody really objects to that one. No, that seems fine. Okay, so let me work from Sadhbh let me go. Let me keep going in this direction. So let me ask Brannoc. This something unusual. Is the supernatural involved or not?
I definitely think the supernatural is involved. It's what has kind of brought us all here. So I feel like the supernatural is certainly involved. I can be more specific if you want, or I can just say that.
No,
Okay.
just say that at this point. We'll add a bit of flesh as we go around the table. Let me go back round to Cynderyn and ask, what do you see that indicates that this unusual happening is supernatural?
Well, animals have a tendency to avoid or be attracted by the supernatural. And right now, they are kind of crowding at a certain point in the hall, like the dogs are over there and the cats are over there. They're not particularly scared. They seem to be alert and a bit unsure, but now it's unusual. That's what it is.
That is certainly unusual. The Lord's hunting dogs and the cats that they keep to take down the rats,
and the rats and the chickens and the sheep that has wandered in.
All of them are attracted to a location in the hall, and I think that I like the idea that this is probably not a great hall, and so the back of it is also the barn. But it's not that the dogs or the cats are attached to the rats. All the animals, even the cow that's back there, is kind of, they're all looking at a place somewhere in the hall. They're focused on a part of the hall. Let me go to Wulfwynn. This seems appropriate. What do you hear? And I want to know, is this something you hear, everyone hears, but what do you hear that reinforces this sense of this being unusual in the extreme, perhaps?
I think it's like the sound of crackling, like something burning, but there's no fire, there's no smoke, there's no fire, but like the animals can hear it, and I'm going to say the Fae can hear it.
So, well, yeah, this is what does Wulfwynn hear. I don't think it's for you to tell other characters what they can hear.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, she can sort of hear it at the edge of her hearing, but she can obviously see the animals are responding to something.
Fine. And when you exchange looks with the other characters, the other heroes, do you get the impression they can hear this as well?
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm going to suggest that no one else in the hall is hearing this. Okay, we'll build on that in a moment. And then let me come to Sadhbh. Let me come to Brannoc. What do you feel, Brannoc? You've noticed the animals are fixated on a part of the hall. You can hear this crackling, maybe it's the sound of a fire or maybe some other crackling. What do you feel?
I imagine around the table, or at least me, that I start to feel a little bit cold. And as this kind of like cold starts to seep in, I sort of go inward, and I feel the kind of like warmth of Christ kind of like rise up in my stomach, start to kind of cover me almost in a kind of like a shield almost, or some sort of inner power. And it's when I know that like something's activated. It's like, my otherworldly sense coming alive.
Fine. Well, let me ask you the hard question then. Do you actually want to activate, to trigger your gift? Do you call on Christ to show you something here, a true path?
Sure, why not? Yeah, well, let's do it.
So let's have you look at your move. So
okay.
every time we use a gift, as it says there, when you call on your gods to empower your gift, use the basic move, invoke your gift. And this requires you say what success looks like. So you want to be able to sense what some route through this, or a place to go. What are you after here?
Or even just what exactly is occurring, perhaps. Yeah, and how to kind of like navigate through it. saving the most souls I can, obviously. I think that would
yeah,
be.
I take that for granted. Of course.
Yes.
So, okay, let's have you roll plus
Okay.
soul
Okay.
minus the debts you currently owe. And I don't think you owe anyone any debts at the moment. I think you're
Okay.
home free. So,
So roll plus soul. Okay. 2d6 plus 1. All right. 1. Sorry. Wait. Whoops. I would do that again.
Can I just delete that one?
Yeah. Delete that one. Sorry. I think I did it.
It just gets cluttered if we all have separate dice.
Yeah.
So if you're content
Oh.
to, that's okay.
Oh
Don't
wait,
worry
I
about it.
don't. Sorry, I don't know how to
Okay.
roll the same
Okay.
dice.
Let me get rid of those. So what you need to do is
Yes.
click on the one of the purple dice or one.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
And then click on the other one, and
Yes.
then the little re-roll button will appear.
Aha.
Yeah?
Okay. Sure.
Sorry,
Yep.
I should have asked.
Good.
My fault.
So 6 plus 1, 7.
So 7 plus, your gods favor you and empower your gift. Owe them a debt or mark a condition as they take a blood sacrifice from you. So do you want to take harm or do you want to owe them a debt? For this nice warm feeling.
I guess I'll owe a debt. Why not?
Fine. Well, down there next to the Christ God, you'll see there's a drop down that will allow you to select your first debt. Congratulations.
Okay.
Okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. But on 7 to 9, the fate chooses one. You attract unwelcome attention. Your gift has a broader effect than you desired. Your gift takes more from you than you had expected. Okay.
Yes.
So the path that Christ shows you is in the corner of the hall where the attention of the animals has been drawn. You see what appears to be a wavering, it could almost be a heat haze to tie into that crackling perhaps of a fire. A heat haze that is attracting the attention of the animals. No one else can see that. And it appears that or what is causing it is where the true path lies.
Okay.
But I choose to present a broader, to attract and welcome attention. And as you look, Brannoc, the heat haze begins to take on an outline, a not entirely humanoid outline, and begins to move into the hall where it becomes visible to everyone. And everyone in the hall goes, ah! And that's where we'll take our first break. So we will come back to confront whatever Brannoc has attracted. It is 4 minutes past the hour now. Say again?
Do I need to roll my start of thingy move?
I was going to do that after this. Just to because by the end of this, you should perhaps have had some interaction with a named NPC of some description, then we'll know where we stand. So I'm going to suggest that we take a long break to start with. So back in our seats at 1:15. Okay, I'll see you then. So we left our heroes with Brannoc having attracted some unfortunate attention. Something is coming through whatever that portal is, Brannoc, and it is beginning to manifest. And I suppose I would describe it as the first thing you will notice, Brannoc, I think, or anyone will notice, is that the eyes are glowing. It clearly has eyes. It is not entirely humanoid, and it is glowing. I think I will go to Cynderyn and ask, what does Cynderyn do when this happens?
That's certainly odd. I think Cynderyn will attempt to either remember what that might be or just look at it and figure out if it's a fairy like himself and if he should run away if it is a fairy like himself, or should attack or to make a bargain. I think he wants to look about him.
Look about you. Roll plus sense to ask me some questions, or a question at least.
Do not have a ton of sense because fairy, but I am greedy, so I get a +1. So I'm going.
This could be valuable.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what this could be worth?
Right, it's a 9. So
Any pluses?
no, I'm rolling flat. I've got
Oh, it
-1 in
cancels.
sense
I
and
see.
+1 because I'm greedy.
Okay. So on a 7+, either ask me one question about any of the bullet points on the basic move, or ask me to reveal a weakness of this thing. Maybe you remember something of these and maybe it has a weakness, or agree a detail to add to the scene that enriches the fiction, or ask me to do so.
I mean, I think I would ask you a question about this thing, and the very simple question, what is it?
This is something that came to this land with the Christ God.
Ugh.
This is one of those fallen angels that have cursed the land since the Christ God polluted it.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is not good.
But does it seem like a fair answer to your question?
That does seem like a very fair answer to my question.
Okay. Let me go next to Wulfwynn. What, if anything, do you want to do?
I'm just going to say, can we help you, traveler?
Okay. So you are approaching this.
Yeah, in a calm and friendly way.
Okay, let's have you face a challenge then. This seems to be either about subtle or sense, or is it simple faith, in which case soul?
No, so I'll go with sense, I think.
Okay.
And so +1. And we're off again. 6.
Congratulations. Okay. Let's see what it does. I think it is beginning to manifest physically in this hall, and everyone is scattering to the walls of the hall. You've approached it, and a tail whips around from behind it and inflicts 2 points of condition. Oh, did I tell you should clear the condition, all your conditions?
Oh, okay.
Last time, yeah. Likewise, Sadhbh, if you had any harm sitting in your condition track, clear it. But yeah, it just whips across you and throws you across the hall into a table, Wulfwynn. It doesn't feel like the talking kind. Sadhbh, you see this happening. It is manifesting physically, and I think I would describe it as chitinous. It is insect-like, perhaps.
Yes. Sadhbh is going to, out of curiosity, the debts of honor that you owe. Let's say that I owed 4 debts of honor to the Christ God. Would that make a difference to a Christ-like, I don't know, to a fallen angel, or is my standing as Celtic Mystic always going to have me branded as?
You're always going to, that's what you are. I think at some point, if those debts begin to get, permanently out of balance, then the old gods are going to start calling cards on you.
Got it. Yes. So I think that because this is a fallen angel, she is going to try.
Well, look, I tell you what, I'll make life simple for you.
Yeah.
I will erase one of those debts to the old gods if you confront it with the power of the old gods.
Yes.
Are you at all tempted by that possibility?
Slightly. The number is enormous. so
yeah, I could have a lot of fun tonight, it must be said, as an old god.
I would, I'm trying to think very practically speaking, a -4, I mean, it won't get me squat. So yes, I think she is going to want to ask Christ to take this fallen angel back to heaven.
Okay, so hang on, is this a request of the Christ God, or are you doing what the old gods want you to do, which is to confront it?
This is a request to the Christ God.
Okay, so this is then a miracle and wonder.
And I'm looking for
calling on Christ So
Yeah.
soul minus debts currently owed means you roll
1.
flat, I think.
Is there any
So
way
I've
I
got
can
soul-
help? No.
I think you could in this, but you don't have to make the decision until after the dice fall.
Okay, okay.
But I
Right.
think that because it's a call to the Christ God, I think you might be able to help here. So
No.
Sadhbh, do your thing. Rolling flat, I think.
Well, it's soul is +2, and I've got a -1 on.
Oh,
Christ,
sorry,
so-
-1. So +1 to invoke your gift.
Okay. And for what it's worth, just remembering I have the standing of righter of wrongs. She's somehow thinking that this is possibly related
That
to
might
get a
help
fallen angel.
later on.
We will see. So she
Oh,
got
that
a
is a
5
4 and a
plus
1.
1. So she got a
So-
6.
So that's a 6. So let me ask you first, if you do want to invoke, you want to play the help yourself move, when you say how your standing or seeming is relevant to your current action, owe your gods a debt in order to roll 1 or more dice.
Yes. Well, if she can get help from the loon rather than do that.
Fine. So you're not going to do that. Brannoc, how do you think you can help here?
So I imagine seeing Sadhbh sort of call upon the Christ God and sort of pushing back this sort of demon. I'll sort of come alive and I'll start to sort of speak in tongues. And this sort of language that I'm speaking, I'm sort of trying to evoke almost like this angelic language, right? This kind of like first language of Eden, to sort of like send it back to wherever it came from.
Now, you don't need to use I like the link to tongues. You don't have to use
Sure.
that move.
I'm just giving it flavor.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Sure.
So you're going to help another hero. I think that's roll plus soul, because this
Roll
is
plus
all
soul.
about faith.
Okay. Perfect.
At some point, these dice have to get into,
Ooh. I think I rolled really badly.
that's a
He can invoke his.
4.
He can invoke his standing.
Yeah, can I invoke my standing or what is
Yeah,
it?
I mean,
Reroll one?
I think sadly,
Yeah.
Oh, as a
I
loon.
don't quite see how your standing as a loon plays here.
Or seeming. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So
Yeah.
I will have rolled a 5, I think, because my soul is 1, right?
That is a 5.
Yeah.
So some say I'm touched by the divine. No, I'm sorry to push. I don't need it to push. I was looking at the description.
5.
So I think the difficulty here is then that Brannoc, when you open your mouth, that tail whips back at you
Sure.
and it bounces you off a wall. So again, you mark 2 on that condition track. The way condition works is you start top left and work downwards and then columns. So that's no help at all, Sadhbh.
Sadhbh can still invoke her standing, huh?
She could. All
Yeah,
it costs her is a debt.
She's going to invoke her standing. So she's going to invoke right of wrongs. She's going to take. So now she's 3 in debt to the Christ God, right?
She is.
She was all right. And,
which kind of gets you to break even, doesn't it? It gets you a success.
So I mean, this is
Invoke your gift. Yeah.
So I had a 4 and a 1. So I'm going to re-roll the 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
What could go?
Oh,
6
got a
and
6.
okay. So that's 7 plus. Your gods favor you, empower your gift. Which of those miracles and wonders?
Banish. I would like to banish this creature from this place.
Fine. And I think everyone will see it just become incorporeal and then disappear. And everyone, and everyone's looking at Sadhbh, except somebody's looking at you, Cynderyn. Who in the hall seemed to be paying more attention to you than to anybody else?
Sorry, let me check the settlement real quick.
If you can make an argument for one of the villagers to be present, you can have them as well. I think the only one that would make no sense is the outcast.
No, I think it's either it's maybe I think I like the dangerous air. Maybe we'll figure out why she's so dangerous.
So the dangerous, all this is going on, and the dangerous air is focused on you. Let's see how seeming human goes, shall we, Cynderyn?
Oh, yeah. Let's see how that goes.
So you clothe yourself in the appearance of humanity. Mortals can sometimes sense your true nature. Roll plus soul.
Okay. Yeah, it's a 10.
Oh, wow. Okay, 10 plus. Your outward appearance is seamlessly maintained.
I'm
You-
a hello, fellow normal human beings.
Yeah, and Oslafa kind of is focused on you and then shakes head and looks away.
Oh, I give her the kind of grin that maybe says, hey, maybe you weren't wrong. Or maybe you were, who knows.
I'll come to that in a moment.
Mhm.
Everyone's looking at Sadhbh, who they've seen call on Christ to banish a demon, a fallen angel, one of the accursed. Everyone is very impressed, Sadhbh. Apart from the old gods. Just so you know.
That's right. And there is a priest of Woden here, though. That's not old god, I guess. Yeah.
Let me go back around to Brannoc. All of this comes back to you, Brannoc.
Yes.
What's your reaction to having seen what's gone on?
So I imagine having sort of like pulling myself up from the ground, like getting back to my bench and seeing Sadhbh, almost like glowing in this kind of like radiant power of Christ. I would just sort of stand there and like grab from my cup and like take a deep swig and say, you come ever closer to the Christ God. You find your way to the light. And I'll just sort of like not like hover my hand over her sort of like radiant aura as I'm kind of like almost in awe, I imagine. And yeah, sort of taking maybe account of the other folk, but maybe spending more time like with Sadhbh.
What about Wulfwynn? As you drag yourself up from where you've been battered against this table.
Yep. So, Sadhbh, are you all right? And what in the hells was that?
Yeah, so I think perhaps a little bit the way that it went down was the maybe the banishment was something bizarre, like she took some kind of herbs and wheat, and she like lit them in a candle and threw them in the corner, and then crossed herself as it was happening or something like that. So there was a little bit of drama. So she stamps the fire out angrily and says and finds something to drink for herself and is about to drink from it and gives it to Wulfwynn and then takes some for herself and says, I'm really at a loss here. And she looks pretty withdrawn. So that's the answer.
Do you do anything, Wulfwynn?
I think she'll give like a quick hug, and as long as you're okay, that's the main thing. We need to look after each other.
Oh, go on.
I haven't seen something like that before.
And if it's okay, can I try to use a temptation to clear one of my?
You can.
So she is, unfortunately, apologies, Wulfwynn, she is going to shrug off any kind of hug and take her glass and throw it against the wall in wrath. And so I clear a debt, is that right?
You clear a debt to whichever god that you currently owe one to. Pick one.
Got it. I'm going to clear it to Woden.
And I think that is when, let's see, Adaren, the benevolent spouse of Sidwyll, the ambitious landowner, she was about to come to Sadhbh when there's this kind of violent explosion. And Oslafa, the dangerous heir, stands between you. Beware, mother. What are you? Says Oslafa to Sadhbh.
Whatever any of the gods want me to be, I'm a vessel, which, and she starts to drink more.
And then Oslafa points at Brannoc and says, first you summon a demon and then this friend of yours casts it away?
I would say that we did not summon anything. It just sort of appeared out. I don't know. It was in the distance, and and at this point, I'll just sort of start to kind of like mumble to myself and sort of like pull my cup and start to kind of speak, you know, almost in like strange gibberish as I kind of like wander off and my eyes sort of like go towards the ceiling.
I don't think we need to trigger speaking in tongues unless you're keen to. Cynderyn. You know, there is a degree of, there is tension in the room, there is fear in the room. Do you do anything with any of that?
It's also interesting. Let's see if I can intervene here a little. I will step besides Brannoc, put a hand on his shoulder and say, no, he did not summon this. He has come to deliver you from it.
This sounds like you are trying to convince Oslafa to focus their attention somewhere else. So let's have you convince. And it sounds like subtle to me.
Yeah, I guess. Not great at that, but you know.
Unless you've got a move that does something different.
I don't think my glamour or fey magic is very helpful, particularly helpful here. So now I'm just rolling. Let's see how that goes. Oh, it's an 8, so that's fine.
That's not bad. 7+, you do it, but the fate chooses 1. Oh no, sorry, 7 to 9. They will do it, but they choose 1. I think Oslafa backs down, but in a way that displays a kind of, he's beneath my contempt. He smells.
Yes, that is what the Christ people do.
But all 4 of you will be called to the Lord's table, where Sidwyll wants to know, what is he to do? Wulfwynn, I'm just curious, because you have a move now, don't you? When you recall a relevant myth, gain advantage in relation to the supernatural that can be passed to another hero. I'm just curious whether you know anything that's at play here. All right, don't let me twist your arm. I'm just noticing the move.
Yeah, because I kind of said I didn't know what it was, so
But now matters have clarified, haven't they? You've got a very good look at it.
Oh, maybe I can, recall a legend where, it's made of fire, so we can use water against it, and perhaps holy water can cure it of its affliction and stuff.
Well, let's have you roll to look about you with advantage.
I think I've got a bunch of minuses, so oh no, -2. Hang on, -2 with advantage.
So you roll all 3 dice, select the top 2, and then take 2 from it.
Right, so 7, 5. Sweet. That's 3 failures in a row. I'm on brand.
That is, if only there was XP on a failure. I may have to reinstitute that rule just for you. Yeah, you're pretty convinced that sound of burning that you heard and you drew other people's attention to, those are the fires of the Christian hell. So if you could somehow immerse this creature in some water or something like it, then that would do away with it. That plan is bound to work. Now, what I will tell you is that might be true.
I'll calmly explain that.
Then Sidwyll looks at Brannoc and says, "Well, can you call it again?"
We could call it again. I don't even know how to call it again. I will try to call it again. And then I'll sort of like, I don't know, sort of.
Well,
put
can
to
you call
myself,
it in the well? Says Sidwyll. If we can drown the creature.
well, let's call it again. Yes, we'll call it again. And I just sort of like grab another whatever flagon of ale or something, and I start to kind of speak in that.
No, says we. In the well, you fool! In the well.
Well, let's call it. Okay, in the well. Yes, in the well. Everyone
And
to the well.
Cut to the well.
Yes.
Unless one of you has got a cleverer idea.
I think I would like to stay behind in the hall and maybe talk to some people there, because I don't think Brannoc called this thing right. And also, if everybody's at the well, and there are so many nice things here, I'm just saying.
So who do you want to have? Which of our supporting cast do you want to have a chat?
Let me see. I think not the air. Ooh. I think who I want to call. I think I would like to talk to the priest of Woden. He's cowardly. He'll stay behind.
He certainly hangs back as Sidwyll and Allfather lead everyone out towards the well in the center of the village. And yes, certainly Cuthred kind of hangs back. I will keep a watch, my lord. So what does this conversation look like, Cynderyn?
Oh, I go up to him and say, what a brilliant idea. You must be one of the few wise people in this hall, because surely my lord friend Brannoc did not call the demon.
But he drew attention to it, and then it appeared.
He drew attention to it. That is not the same thing as calling it forth, isn't it? There was a weirdness in this hall before we came, and maybe that is what matters. You're my friend. Tell me.
He says, no, rubbish. No, you're probably right. There was I must go to assist my lord. Clearly he is uncomfortable talking about this.
I will put my hand on his shoulder and say, let us have a drink before you go, just to fortify your spirit. I've found that it always helps if you have a good drink in you, and these are marvelous drinks here.
I think you're going to have to convince him.
I think that's that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I do. So I will roll with Sadhbh again, I imagine.
I'm afraid so.
Oh, it's a 9.
A 9. Now, I am curious whether anyone, we know Brannoc is up there at the well, babbling in tongues at the sky. I'm curious, is anybody loitering at the back of the crowd where Cynderyn is having this conversation with the priest? And if so, would they be interested in helping Cynderyn convince Cuthred that maybe he should stay and have a chat? Wulfwynn, or are you at the sharp end? Sadhbh, or are you at the sharp end?
No, I don't want to be near the loon, because if he does manage to pull this off, that thing bloody hurt me. So I'm going to be at the back.
Okay. Well, let's. How do you, if you wanted to, how do you think you could help Cynderyn, Wulfwynn?
I can just with flattery, just say, you've been here for a while. You seem to know what's going on. Tell us what's going on. We'd like to help.
Let's have you roll with subtle then, to help another hero.
All right. So 2, excellent. Uh, 13.
At last. The outcome improves by 1 step, not just by +1. So this goes from 9 to a 10. So full success. Choose one. You gain advantage as a result of their help, or they are in awe of you and their settlement owes you a debt. He's going to talk to you. He's going to stay. He's going to talk to you.
Cool. I was just confused about my stats and which one I've used, so I need to read that move again. I'm sorry. I'm convinced them there. You gain advantage. Here they are in awe of you. Oh, that settlement owes me a debt. That is brilliant.
Fine. So they owe you a debt. Yes, I should have told Sean this. Sean, whenever you roll with an attribute, you put a little tick in the box next to it. I'm sorry, I should have explained that. And I'm assuming the others are on that. Brannoc, are you really trying to summon this?
I guess it's a good question. Being the kind of, the wild man, I imagine I'm kind of out there sort of, Beelzebub, Azrael, but kind of like looking around too to see sort of who's watching me and what they're sort of expecting, but also trying to see like, is there anything strange going on that I should be seeing with these villagers, with the people of
because the truth is that you spotted this thinness in the real world and attracted it through. You didn't summon it.
No.
And so I don't think anything's going to happen at the well.
I don't think anything is going to happen either, but I think being the fool, I'm just sort of like
going with it.
I'm going with the flow, and I'll just sort of, I'll try to do what they say, and then just kind of look. And when nothing happens, I'll just sort of, well, I don't know what happened this time. I'll just kind of, anyway, should we go back to the hall?
Well, you are performing.
Yeah,
I think and Sadhbh is nearer you than near Cynderyn and Wulfwynn, just in case. So Cynderyn, Wulfwynn, Cuthred does take a drink and his hand is slightly shaking.
My friend, there is something on your mind. And telling it to a storyteller of such renown as dear Wulfwynn here would certainly ease your burdens.
You would tell this story to others?
Oh, she would weave a story of glorious heroics about your hall and the proud and wise priest.
Well, I think she might have been right.
What do you, sort of lean closer on? What do you mean, my lord?
Ricola, she kept bothering Lord Sidwyll. She kept talking about signs and portents and he has plans and they cannot be disturbed. And he is an ambitious man, and so I had her cast out. And yet she said that something was coming.
A wise move to aid the fate of this village.
But he mustn't know that she was right and I was wrong.
Oh, he won't. He won't.
He trusts my judgment.
Of course, and why would he not? You have such an awesome beard, my friend. How could he not trust a man with a beard like this? Have another drink. And as I grin at Wulfwynn and wink at her, like.
Let me cut momentarily back to the well, where it must be said, Brannoc, that from rapt attention, the village is now thinking, well, it's quite cold out here in the dark. Torchlight is lighting the scene, and you're giving it your all, and people are, there's a slight murmur. Now, Sadhbh, there is the possibility that you could summon a demon. Are you tempted to do so, or not?
Yeah, so she's tempted to do so with if she's able to take advantage of a capering fool. And in addition, she's tempted to plead with her old gods that this is an opportunity to convince this Christian of your power. Let's pull this thing out, and I will confront it like you asked.
I can't remember how the old gods talked to you. What did they manifest in your mind's eye, or I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I don't know that we established it. There were there it was just all kind of physical manifestations.
Well then
like
let me then, because we've not spent the special effects
Please
budget
do.
this week yet. So I think as you offer up that prayer, I think we have seen you kind of eyes glaze over a little bit, and we go into we kind of zoom in on your eye, disappear through the pupil. And how many debts do you currently owe them?
5.
5. You are standing in the middle of a stone circle, 5 stones. And in the shadow of those stones, there is a figure. And though only one of them speaks, it is as if all 5 of them speak. And they say, "You may try, servant, but you will try without our aid." And they are going to cash in one of their debts to put you at disadvantage on the next thing you do. So reduce the debt by 1, but you are now carrying disadvantage. Yeah? And then you're back in the village next to the well, in that certain knowledge that if you try it now, you will act at disadvantage. They want to smack your wrist.
Yeah, is there any chance that the loon was acting a capering fool, trying to gain advantage to balance out that disadvantage?
I don't think that's what we were seeing. I think that we were seeing Brannoc with the best will in the world, trying to deliver. He may have been capering, but he was capering to some effect, I thought.
Fair enough. So she's gonna try this, and is she gonna take another debt on top of this as a result of trying this?
Oh yeah.
So she's lost the debt and is going to get it back.
And this will be at disadvantage. So at this point, then you are going to invoke your gift. You're going to roll plus soul minus the debt you currently owe. Right.
4.
So, and we'll see how that plays. Rolling 3 dice and taking the bottom 2.
Oh, I rolled. Here, I'll roll this. 6,
6,
4, and 5. 6, 4, and 5.
Well, that's 1 in the eye for the old gods. So
well, that's still 9 minus 4.
No. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But do I subtract? I subtract my debt from this. Yes. Yes.
So you add your soul, subtract your debt. But that is still success. And so you are summoning something into this well, you hope.
9 minus 4 is still a success.
Oh no, it's not. Sorry, no, it's a miserable. I beg your pardon. I've never dealt with anyone with quite this much debt.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a fail. Yeah.
What about your +2 for soul, though?
Yeah,
cancel out.
Oh, my fault. I'm sorry. I forgot.
That's what I was confused about.
So you should be at 7, right?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for that. Oof.
So the debt they gave you back, you give them back. And grudgingly, they give you a demon.
In the well, I'm hoping.
I think on a 7 to 9, the fate chooses 1. You attract unwelcome attention. The gift has a broader effect than you had desired. Your gift takes more from you than you had expected. I think that we hear a kind of claw on the side of the well as it scrapes, and the claw is coming further up the well. And Sidwyll says, to Brannoc. I can hear it. I can hear it. It's coming. Now drown it, man. Drown it.
Everyone back, everyone back. Yeah, and I'll try to drown it. I'll grab whatever. I presume I have some kind of flagon of something on me, and I'll kind of give it and I'll throw it down the well.
Throw it down there. Let's have you confront a demon, Brannoc.
Okay,
With
confront,
a ceramic.
okay, with a ceramic.
So let's have you do that thing. So I will tell you that it has a range of defenses.
Yes.
I will tell you that it has, let me just find this. It has flight.
Uh-huh.
It has chitinous armor. And where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? And the ability to regenerate.
Okay.
As a power.
Yes.
So you need to somehow overcome its defenses.
All right.
So confront them. Say which defense you're trying to overcome. Are you trying to overcome its armor to make it more prone to harm? Or are you going to try and stop it flying out of that well?
I guess I'm going to try and stop it flying out of the well. And what I'm going to do is, again, kind of go into my, strange language, and I'll sort of invoke the name of Christ, and I'll throw, I'll kind of bless the ale or whatever in the sort of, the little chalice I have, and then I'll cast it down and sort of try to, hit it in the face.
Okay.
Presumably. And distract it enough to kind of. So I keep hearing this kind of invoking of capering fool. How do I
Yes.
invoke that? Is there a way? What's the way that I kind of move that?
When you act the fool, reveal some aspect of your life before you were touched by your gift.
Yes.
So before you became a loon.
Before I became, yeah.
And roll plus soul. And
Okay.
that gives you the option then, if you succeed, being regarded as beneath the notice, and you'll gain advantage to stay unnoticed. Maybe
Okay.
when this thing launches itself out of the
That would
well.
sound ideal. Yes.
Okay. So let's have you do that thing.
Okay, so I should reveal some aspect, and
Yeah,
it's out of the storyline. So I imagine Brannoc, before finding his way to Christ, was a kind of like semi-professional gambler. Would find his way into gambling halls. Was a big-time sort of spender, and one of the most difficult days of his life was when he basically maybe this is a little too intense, but kind of like gambles away his own child. His son, let's say he's 7 or 8, and kind of in a sort of like drunken fit, passes him off to like some other, figure.
I'm gonna check in because we
Sure.
have a line
Against
on death and endangerment of children.
Sure. So I will say
I'm content with this because we don't know what's going to happen to the child.
yes, sure.
But I just want to check in with the rest of the table.
I can rewind it.
I think it would be better if it wasn't a child.
Sure. I will switch it to his own home. So we'll change it to property.
Fine.
Puts down his own deed to his home, kind of gambles it away. And let's say this kind of small farmstead that he had basically saved up for, perhaps was gifted to him from his father, kind of puts the deed down and loses it in a kind of fit of gambling woe. We'll say
that's great. That's
Perfect.
a nice detail.
Okay.
So then let's have you roll plus soul.
Perfect. 2 + 1. All right. I keep rolling plus soul, which is, that's okay. So an 8. 7 + 1, 8.
7
Yeah.
plus. Pick
Yeah.
one. You're regarded as beneath notice and gain advantage to stay that way. You're regarded as harmless and gain advantage to exploit that situation. Which one do you want?
I guess it seems like advantage seems like the best one, right? You're regarded as beneath
Well,
notice and
both of
gain
them give
advantage.
you
to stay that way.
advantage, just in different
You're
circumstances.
regarded as harmless and gain advantage to exploit that situation. All right. Well, then I'll go with the second one, to exploit that situation. Hopefully, then
Fine.
I can overcome the armor. Yeah.
Fine. So let's have you go with that then. So you are going to appear harmless to this thing, and yet I will let you roll with advantage to try and surprise it.
Okay. And sorry, the new roll is with, it's not with soul, it's with, is it with?
I think it's with steel. 'Cause
Steel,
this
okay,
is
perfect.
about this is a physical act. So
Sure.
you're rolling 3 dice and taking the top 2.
I'll roll 3 dice to take the top 2. Okay. And to roll 3 dice, I just click on the red one too?
Click
Yeah,
on the
okay,
third one, yeah.
perfect. So
Just as well.
9 plus steel is -1, so 8.
8. Okay, so on 7+, the fate erases that defense. So this shocks it enough to erase that scaly chitinous defense. And I choose to have it use one of its powers. One of its powers, as you're dancing round the lip of the well, capering, it's paying no attention to you, and so it is surprised when this bounces off it, shakes itself, and then launches itself out of the well into flight, and disappears up into the darkness. Cynderyn and Wulfwynn, I think you will notice this because the crowd have scattered backwards. Warriors are raising shields and spears to protect the Lord. You said you drowned it! Cynderyn, what about you? Wulfwynn, what about you?
Can I use the site to try and figure out where it is?
You could do, but to be honest, it's about to swoop down into the torchlight. So that might be a waste of effort.
Yeah. All right, well, I've got
Because
the
it's
knife out and I'm
hungry
looking
and
around.
angry.
I'll grab my sword.
With what intention?
Oh, with the intention of, I mean, it's a foe, right, of the settlement, and the people of the settlement are bound to be grateful if I help vanquish this thing.
Okay, so
Also, my fairy queen would probably like it if I help that Wulfwynn lady, and I want to impress her a little.
So let me ask you this then: are you doing this? Are you looking for trouble or aiming to protect someone? And if so, who?
Oh, I'm looking for trouble.
Okay. So you kind of just waiting for it to come out of the sky. Sadhbh, what about you?
Does it still have its protection? The kind of thing is that still there?
The chitinous defense is, okay. When it came up, you noticed that there are gaps in the chitin.
Oh, okay.
In the plates that are revealed to you. So, sorry, I should go to Wulfwynn then Sadhbh. Wulfwynn.
Yeah.
Same, yeah. I'm trying to get it to come at us. I want us to fix this problem. So, yeah, come at me.
Okay, Sadhbh, what about you?
Yes, Sadhbh would be attacking this thing angrily, kind of selflessly. I have a question about face danger versus confront, but we can answer that if it makes sense.
Confront is the only way you can remove its defenses, and only when its defenses are gone can you humble it.
And face danger, if that's
face
not
danger would be to
combat.
if you face a risk. So trying to get somewhere pursued by a demon might be face danger. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, let's have it swoop down. I love a random roll. I have 3 people as potential targets. It is coming at Cynderyn. Scream, you will see the reflection of the torchlight, and the eyes fix on you, Cynderyn. You brace yourself. It screams.
I shout back. It's what my shout, I imagine, is a bit more melodious, but it also sounds a bit otherworldly.
And that's where we take the next commercial break. Cool. Shall we be back in our seats at 10 past the hour? See you then. Okay, we're still waiting for one player to come back to the table, but we're going to make a start because Cynderyn, this thing is coming after you. And swoops down towards you and then pulls up short and its tail swings in towards you. How are you going to try? Because its next defense is its ability to fly.
Mm-hmm. It Has
So
wings
how
or
do you
something like that, right?
Yeah, great, insect, cross between insect and bat wings with insect membranes between them. Ugh. So
Pretty.
what do we see you do that might overcome that defense?
I want a part of one of these wings. They're pretty.
Yeah, now the
They would
trouble
make a
is
good
that-
gift for my fairy queen.
the range of that tail is greater than the range of your sword.
Well, if not if I jump from that barrel over there
Okay,
at the thing, right?
So I think this is face a challenge
I wanted
to make a
confront
leap
it,
at
though.
it.
But I want to confront it.
I think you need to succeed
Okay.
to get close enough.
Mhm.
If you're going after the wings, you're going to have to climb up that tail.
Oh damn! I'm not great at facing challenges.
Well, you're using steel in either case.
Yeah, but I am greedy, and I will overcome it. So fine. So I'm rolling with -1.
Oh, steel is -1. Oh, gee whiz.
No, steel is not -1, but I'm greedy, and greed gives
Oh, of course.
-2 to face danger, and I assume that's face a challenge.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there fire around this thing at the minute, or there's not?
there are torches. The villagers have torches.
'Cause when we first saw it, it was on fire, but it's like not now, is it?
No. There was a vague heat haze, and you were convinced that this was indicative of it being able to be drowned, Wulfwynn.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll roll for it.
Okay,
Let's see how that
let's
goes.
do
So
that
I'm
thing.
rolling with -1. And we'll see how it goes with the 10. I rolled a 10, so it's
There
9.
you go.
Mhm.
So on a success, you do it.
Mhm.
I choose. I think I will have you mark 1 harm doing
Yeah,
it.
that makes
That
sense.
seems fair.
That makes total sense.
And so, describe this to me.
Mhm. Yeah, okay, so this thing of tail lashing comes at me, and I run up a barrel, yelling at it to keep its attention on me, and also for the glory of my fairy queen. And sword first, I jump at it, and I grab the tail, yes, and I can clamber up to its wings where I could cut it.
Well,
But this thing is hot. You said.
hot to the touch. Well, look,
Yeah.
you're on the tail.
Mhm.
And we can see you trying to grab hold of chitinous plates and try to work your way up towards as it's kind of off balanced perhaps a bit. Where do I go next? Wulfwynn and Sadhbh, I think you declared an intention to have a go at it. Does anyone have a weapon that is in any way long enough to reach it? Each of the weapons has a kind of hand close intimate.
I have a throwing dagger, but I'm not. I don't know.
I will come to you in a moment.
Sure.
Sadhbh, Wulfwynn, do you have anything that will reach it?
Can I run up and like run over the top of people and do a flying
you can
stab
try
sort of thing?
you can try the same thing as Cynderyn to try to get up there, but that will be face danger with steel.
All right.
Face a challenge with steel. Sorry, may not be dangerous. Gonna try it?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Been rolling so well. What's worse that can happen? 9. Yeah, flat 9.
Fine. You two do it. So now we got both of you hanging on this tail, which I think narratively means that tail is no longer any use as a weapon. But you're going to have to succeed at confronting it in order to bring it to the ground. Let me go to Sadhbh next. 2 of your fellow heroes are clambering up the back of a demon. What do you want to do, Sadhbh?
Sadhbh has been very tempted to not call on her gods, but feels it's the best ranged attack that she's got. She is going to call on Woden to try to hurt this thing.
Yeah, and the old gods are going to reduce your deck by 1 to make you at disadvantage while you do it.
All right.
Congratulations. They are
Thank
really
you.
pissed at you.
There we go. I like this. At least there's a mechanic to reduce it. That's okay.
So let's have you. I'm taking this is where does it go? Something like hurt them.
Yeah, hurt them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
fine. So so you're going to try and confront with soul then. In the end.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Let's keep
Okay.
doing that.
So let's see if you can actually make this work. So if this works, we'll apply it to confront them. So go for it. Invoke your gift.
Uno. So it's a 5.
Wow.
It might be even. Oh no, it's
Yeah.
even worse because it's even worse because there's a 1 from Woden, so it's a 4.
So that's that. Yeah, that's going nowhere, is it? And what I think it does is, as it's swinging these two about with the tail, I think that barrel that Cynderyn leapt from is battered in your direction. Would you take 1 point of harm, please?
Mhm.
And I think you're kind of sprawled back against the edge of the well. Meanwhile, Brannoc, you know, you did what they asked, and yet no one seems pleased with you.
It's true. I kind of want to, I mean, what I want to do actually now is perhaps use my speaking in tongues to distract it. So that, does that make any sense to let
Oh,
someone get an
right.
unopposed roll next?
When you start noisily drawing attention to yourself by taking what sounds like others to gibberish,
Yeah.
say who or what stops doing what they're doing, confused, allowing another hero to act unopposed. Yeah, that would work.
Okay.
That would
Okay.
work.
So yeah.
Have a go.
All right. So roll
You know, you're
plus-
screaming in angelic language at it.
Yes, exactly.
So let's have you roll plus sense.
Okay. Come on. Oh. That is a total of 6.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
I think this is lunacy. So I would allow you to invoke.
I mean, aren't we helping by both hanging on to it? Isn't
No,
that-
I don't think so. I don't, because you know, it's focused on you, and
Sure.
Brannoc is now trying to draw its attention to him, so it's not focused on you. So Brannoc, I think I would allow you to invoke your standing to help yourself if you wanted to.
Okay. How do I do that exactly? What's the mechanic?
Okay, it's on basic moves.
Yes.
When you say how you're standing or seeming, you're a
Yes.
loon.
I'm a
Is
loon.
relevant.
Yes.
Owe your gods a debt to
Okay.
reroll 1 or 2 dice.
Okay, so I will certainly owe my God a debt. I love owing Christ debts, so I will owe. So I can choose 1 or 2, and then it's either -1 or a -2.
No, you can just re-roll
1
or
die,
2 of those dice.
1 or 2. Ah, okay, okay. I'll roll.
Any two
I'll
you choose.
re-roll both, I guess.
Okay.
Then, so I will do down to -2. Yep, and I'll re-roll both dice. Come on, loon. Yep. So that's a 12 total.
That made a difference, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
So on a success, you are going to. So it attracts you. It loses track of Wulfwynn and Cynderyn, and lands on all 4s on the ground, all set to leap at you, Brannoc, I think. So just to read the move with care. You're regarded as beneath notice and gain advantage to stay that way. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Say who or what stops doing what they're doing. The demon on 7, it's more than 7 to 9, so you don't have any limitations. No, it is focused on you. Let me go to Cynderyn as first up. Do you want to try and strike one of these wings from its shoulders?
Of course. I mean, that's what I was going to do, right? Want a piece of these wings. I mean, my lady's
Confront
wings
them.
are far more lovely, but you know.
So this is confront them, this
Yep.
time with steel.
Yep. Okay. Wow, I've rolled a 6. That is not great. But I'm doing this for my queen, so can I please be the changeling and invoke my standing here?
I'm prepared to let you invoke your standing to
Okay.
roll 1 or both of those dice. So
And then what does that mean? What do I have to
owe
mark?
your queen a debt.
Totally. I owe all the debts to my queen. Finally, I owe a debt.
You're gonna re-roll the 1?
I
Or
think
both?
so. Yes, I'm re-rolling the one. Another one. Damn it.
Holy moly.
Holy moly, my queen is not pleased.
Wow.
Oh, wow, you're right. You're right. I have a +1 in steel.
Ah, okay, right.
Well, okay. So,
okay,
well, it
well,
was
okay.
a 7 to start with. I
Okay.
still owe my queen a debt just because I'm feeling
So
generous.
you strike at the wing, and I'm not sure yet you're going to strike it off, but they're now confined to the ground.
I only need to take a part of the wing.
Exactly.
I don't want to lug this whole wing thing around, but a little bit.
And he chooses 1. It takes the opportunity to flee and disappears
Whoopsie.
back wherever it came from.
Huh.
Damn that demon.
Wow.
Christ commands you, be gone.
Yeah, I
Just in
actually,
time.
I
Just in
actually
time.
take a step back when you say that.
And you're left with a foul stench in the vicinity. You noticed it didn't really properly manifest in the hall, but now there is a foul stench of that demon, but it has gone back to hell. And everyone goes, ah! I'm going to start with Brannoc, because who wouldn't start with the loon in this circumstance? So Sidwyll looks at you and says, "You did it, fool! You did it!"
All right, I did it to everyone. And I'll just sort of like, I don't know, try to play into it a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think a group of the villagers put you on their shoulders and carry you back to the hall,
Whoa.
leaving the other 3 of you to kind of look around and consider events. Sadhbh, what are you thinking at this point?
No, I would love to go. I do feel the pull of the keeper order, and I don't want Wulfwynn to get skipped over. So can we go to Wulfwynn first?
Of course.
Can I use my healing move on myself? I can, can't I?
You can.
It doesn't really feel right. All right. Yeah, I'll just sort of check that. Scythe, you're right.
Sadhbh is
Cynderyn,
pissed. Sadhbh wanted to hit this thing, so I was looking
Yeah,
around for something to.
It's like, I think Wulfwynn's confused. She's like, "What's just happened?"
They're crediting Christ with it. Didn't they see Cynderyn hit this thing?
Yeah, I mean, we were fighting it, and then, but I mean, how did it get here? How did it leave? We don't have all the information. There's something missing. The main thing is we're all okay.
Cuthred emerges from the shadows and says, "Has it gone for good?" She said there were more of them.
Nothing is ever gone. Nothing is
So I think
ever forgotten.
Sadhbh would want to try to follow the smell, maybe do a look about you, try to understand what's happening.
You don't need look about you for that. The smell lingers. It has clearly stepped back into hell or wherever it came from. So it's left the smell behind it rather than having kind of disappeared in the material world.
I see. I thought you were going to tie us to the
you would
stinking
recognize
ravine.
the stench if you smelt it again, no question. But Cuthred has said to you, she said there was more than one. Is it over? Is it over?
No, there was more work to do, Lord, and I'll sort of put my arm around him and say, let us go for a drink and talk of what has been happening here.
I will step aside to inform her what Cuthbert told us before about Ricola.
What did Cuthbert say about Ricola?
She was claiming that something was not right. Something was going wrong. Something was awry. And he cast her out because he wanted to portray this as a prosperous endeavor. But of course he was wrong. as the Christian, as the human priest, as the mortal priests often are. And I think we should maybe, if we want to get to the bottom of this, we should maybe speak to this Ricola. If we just want to go back to the hall and have some of their fantastic ale, we should do that. But I feel maybe we should finish this.
I think take advantage of the good hospitality and then talk to Ricola. And you look like a couple of you look like you're pretty worse for wear.
I think narratively that makes most sense. You've just had a brush with significant danger. It would seem logical to just take a pause, maybe give Wulfwynn a chance to, help you out. Because when you get back to the hall, Brannoc is Lord of all he surveys. In what way, Brannoc, do we see you taking advantage of your position as savior of the village?
I mean, I imagine I'm trying to get as close to the high table as possible.
Oh, you're at
yeah.
the high table. You're sat between the Lord and his lady.
I've got two drink, like a drink in either hand.
You could have
got
and another one in front of you.
Exactly, and my hand and all the food, and I'm kind of blessing people and sort of if I can baptize, I'll baptize. I mean, I'm trying to kind of like convert any sort of quasi-interested folk into following the Christ God.
Aderin, the leader's benevolent spouse, is of Christian British stock. So she is saying, you see, Sidwyll, I told you, you have to accept conversion. You have to follow Christ. If you genuinely want everything to go well in future, you have to move in the direction of Christ. And on the far side, Oslafa is looking daggers.
And I'll just sort of follow that up, and I'll say, he is the shepherd. He leads us to the light. We must follow him. We follow him in everything that we do. Drink, everyone, drink. And I was sort of like,
Brannoc,
a glass up to Christ.
I would like you to have Thrydingas owe you the settlement now owes you a debt, because clearly the approval is just washing all over you.
Clearly.
Now, Wulfwynn, you suggested you taking Cuthred to one side, taking him back to the hall. Was that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you will see all of this. Cynderyn and Sadhbh, are you heading back to the hall, or are you going off in search of Ricola tonight? Cynderyn, what do you think?
Oh, Cynderyn would go back to the hall, but if Sadhbh strikes out, he will follow, because that would seem more interesting. But if she isn't, he doesn't find that very worthwhile, because Wulfwynn isn't there. And how can he bring back a story of exploits if Wulfwynn isn't there to witness it, right?
Sadhbh, hall or outcast?
Yeah, going back to the hall at the moment.
Okay. So Cuthred is clearly still worried. He's concerned about what's going on. When he comes back and he sees what's going on at the high table, where it looks for all the world like this incomer, this scruffy commoner is threatening to baptize his lord.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I'll say, I'm going to use my heroes and battles move to bandage me, but also sort of reassure him, look, he's not that important. Really, he's just the face. We're the one doing the heavy lifting. This is what we survived, and tell him about how he dealt with the ghosts and the Romans and all that crap last time.
Let's have you roll plus sense to just make yourself feel a bit better.
Okay, so that's one. I only rolled one. Sorry, 4 and 6. Yeah, 6. Bloody hell. There's nothing I can boost that with.
No, sense is 1, isn't it?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, 7.
Thank God for that. Clear dying or erase one condition, Wulfwynn. So you don't have dying yet, do you?
Yeah, so I just clear one condition. That's right.
Okay. What about Cynderyn or Sadhbh when you go back to the hall?
Can I Can I retcon and say that she's pretty pissed? She doesn't want to go back to the hall with this championing of the loon, and she's going to storm off in the direction of the pagan, as long as it's not, you know.
Do you know where the outcast is to be found, or are you just storming into the night?
Good point. No, I mean, unless Cynderyn passed that information on, I have no idea.
I don't think anybody's asked the question. We know of her.
No, I don't know where she is.
Is there anybody?
Everyone's
town
back in
guard.
the hall. Everyone's
Yeah,
back
so
in
she's
the
going back to the
hall.
hall.
They're
She wants to.
celebrating.
She's going to try to ask this information in the hall, but that's what she's going to do. She's gonna
Okay.
I
ask
will.
around.
I will get her something to drink. I think because she seems angry at this Christian love fest, which I can understand. I do not much enjoy it either.
And it must be said, Sadhbh, it's almost physically painful to see, your pridefulness is being ground under the heel of a capering fool. You can only suppose that the old gods are really screwing with you at the minute.
Exactly. That is, yeah. I mean, she feels a little bit like she wants to, wrong choice of word, but pay some sort of penance, right? As a result of this, which is why she's, who were the people in the hall? So Cuthred was the one who mentioned the outcast pagan in the first place?
Yes. And Cuthred is being comforted, stroke restrained by Wulfwynn, because he feels he ought to go up there and just kill that Christian before he shifts the direction in which the Lord is going. But we already know Cuthred is all talk and no action. So it is all talk.
She wants to ask Cuthred where this pagan is. Basically, look, I might want to spend my night sleeping somewhere else where there's more like-minded folks.
I think that Ricola was cast out and has built a shelter for herself in the unholy bog. Of course. Do you want to storm off into the unholy bog in the night, Sadhbh? I'm just curious.
Is that starting to feel like there is a correct answer to that question?
Far be it to be.
Yeah, I think Sadhbh does want to storm off into the unholy bog in the night.
Okay. Cynderyn, do you stay to have Wulfwynn tend to your wounds, or do you set off after Sadhbh?
No, my queen can tend to up my wounds if I need them to be healed. I will go after Sadhbh. This sounds interesting. I wonder what she will do when she arrives at the bar. Maybe fall in and drown, and then we can make a deal when I save her. Right? It's fun. It's fine. I can only win.
Wulfwynn,
maybe not with Brannoc.
Wulfwynn, you were with Cuthred when Sadhbh asked him the question, and you see, her eyes flash. And she storms out of the hall. Do you stay with Cuthred, or do you? Cynderyn looks at you, looks at Sadhbh, sets off after her.
I'll follow. I think I've gotten all I can out of Cuthred, so I'll follow. But I'm not sort of, running right next to Sadhbh because she's a bit grumpy at times.
Brannoc, across the hall, across the fire pit that lights the hall, people are celebrating. Maybe drink has been taken to the point where now they're focused on having a good time rather than on you. And you see all three heroes leave the hall. Two of them following Sadhbh. Do you stay or do you go?
I mean, I think I follow, and I just sort of excuse myself and say, I need to see to the raising of the cross that we will have to place in front of the well, and I'll just sort of like find my way outside, and then kind of follow the group, but maybe a little bit back, because I imagine perhaps that's what the loon would do.
Okay, and no one ever worries in these kind of movies about the directions of the unholy bog. That's not a problem, Sadhbh. So cut to Sadhbh marching into this bog, this boggy area, which of course the nature of unholy bogs is that they don't look boggy until you get into them. So let's have a look at the location tab and try a location move. So Sadhbh, I think this is just, this is thoughtless, marching. So I'm going to have you roll with steel. Because that would work for wrath, it seems to me. So each time you approach, enter, or traverse this location, the hero taking the lead describes their approach. Well, you've pretty much told me that. Data and rolls with the attribute the Fates agrees is most appropriate. Roll with steel, please, Sadhbh. And the gods are going to reduce your debt by 1 to make you roll at disadvantage.
One
my.
and a 2, and then the
Whatever
steel, I
steel
assume.
is.
I'm trying to, I've lost my track. It's either +1 or, let's see. It's a -1. So I think I got a total of 2. Was that right?
That is a total of 2. But the debt you owe the old gods continues to go down. They are that kind to you.
And I get to mark off, I get to mark steel.
You do. Hey. 6-. Expect the threat to manifest with none of the actual or potential benefits, while the oppressive atmosphere of this place puts you at disadvantage when you face it. You remain at disadvantage until you leave the location or your confidence is bolstered by the achievement of 10+ in some action. Sadhbh is marching ahead. Cynderyn is following, maybe saying, Sadhbh, just slow down, slow down. Wulfwynn following after that.
Oh no, definitely not.
Wulfwynn after you. Brannoc hanging back a little bit. Sadhbh has probably picked up the only torch, a torch that was left by the well. And then whoosh, she falls into a sinkhole. Up to her chest. The torch is over there, guttering in the damp bog, and she's up to her chest in bottomless mud.
I think my burden put me at risk. I can check that off.
I think you can.
I will remind you, Alan, I've got 4 points to you, Odin, for debts as well.
Oh, gee whiz. Gee whiz. Well, Wulfwynn, what do you do when you see the torch fall and Sadhbh?
I'll dive forward and try and grab her.
Of course you do.
At her. I wanted to save Sadhbh.
Oh, you might have a chance to save both.
Yeah.
Wulfwynn, let's have you face danger. But I think that's a good idea. I think that the old one-eye has turned his blind one in your direction. Reduce your debt to the Allfather by 1 and roll with disadvantage.
Okay, jolly good. It's a flat round. 3.
3. Gee whiz. Plus steel?
Yep.
Okay, well, mark steel. You dive for Sadhbh, reach for her, and your footing goes, and you too are up to your chest in a sucking bog. Cynderyn, I think that you see all this happening, you're taking this in, that's when Brannoc appears at your shoulder.
Ugh. Mortals, huh? I look at him and say, mortals, huh?
What are you going to do, Cynderyn? Or is this the cliffhanger we finished this episode on?
I will get a branch to drag them out. I'm not jumping into a bog to save some mortals. I mean, Brannoc might, but I'm more sensible than that.
So
drowning in a bog.
I have a mental clock ticking about when stuck in a bog becomes harm due to being stuck in a bog. Let's have you face the challenge of getting the branch close enough to give. Do you go for Sadhbh or Wulfwynn?
I feel that I should go for Wulfwynn first because she's respected by the Fae, and I think my queen would want me to
I
do
think
this,
that makes
right?
sense. Let's have you face a challenge. Steel, unless you've got a better offer.
Yeah, well, I would love to do it with soul, but I don't think that applies here.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about just trusting your queen not to put you foot wrong,
Oh,
you
no,
could
no,
just
no.
you
No,
could
no,
just
no.
walk out into the bog.
Yeah, sure, no.
Okay,
No,
let's go
no,
back
no,
to
no.
Steel. Let's go back
No,
to
no,
Steel.
no. I love my queen. I honor my queen, but trusting her, I mean, no.
Before you roll the dice, let me just check your. Oh no, only -1. No,
Mm.
she's not interested in being nasty to you yet. So
No.
let's have you roll to face a challenge with Steel.
Okay, let's see how that goes. Oh wow, it's a 10.
Gee whizzery. On a
Mhm.
10, gee, I mean, that's remarkable. You do it on a 10 plus. Say how you gain advantage or impress a watching mortal. There aren't any watching mortals, sadly. So
There's
you
my
just have
favorite queen.
advantage.
Mhm.
So just tell us how really cool this looks.
How cool this looks. I mean, I march onto the foolish mortals in the bog, grab this large branch, reach out with it to Wulfwynn and say, my dear, do you enjoy your stay down there, or would you like to come out?
So this is face a challenge, I think, Wulfwynn. But I think given that Cynderyn got advantage of that, I think they could pass that advantage
Yeah.
to you.
I would. Mhm. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
because you are securely footed, and the branch is out there in front. Wulfwynn, let me just check on your debt position. I do hate leaving people with lots of debts. It just seems so unfair. Yeah. I think that reduce the debt you owe the Allfather down to 2. That will put you at disadvantage, which will cancel the advantage that Cynderyn offers. You roll flat with Steel to just drag yourself out of here.
And of course I failed. 5.
Would you take a point of harm, please, to your condition track?
I mean, could you maybe use your standing as respected by the Fae? Because I mean,
I think I'd let you, Cynderyn, help.
okay, I will attempt to do that then. What do
I
I
think
roll
this is
with?
physical force. They get hold and
okay.
it looks like they're slipping off. Can you drag them out?
So it's
Roll
Steel
with
again.
Steel. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if that helps. No, that does not go well. I'm not great at helping people, I'm afraid.
You aren't good at helping.
Could Sadhbh, who's also in the sinkhole, help?
I think Sadhbh's got problems of her own at this point. So Cynderyn, I'm going to put that hard move on the shelf for a moment while I ask Brannoc. Cynderyn is trying to help Wulfwynn. Sadhbh, are you struggling? Are you just, what are you trying to do?
Sadhbh is trying to climb out. Perhaps she's looking for a handhold.
That's what I'm wondering. Brannoc, Sadhbh is going to try and clamber out. You might be able to help it a bit. So let's have Sadhbh face a challenge with Steel to see if she can pull herself out of this sinkhole.
Okay, not with sense looking about you or anything like that.
I don't think so. I think that,
Right,
this is a physical task. I can't see a way around it. I'd let you do something else at disadvantage.
Say that again.
You could use sense to try to work the best way to do it, but I think that would be with disadvantage, but you would get the benefit of sense.
Yeah, I think that she wants to do that.
Fine. Roll 3 dice, take the bottom 2, but add all your sense.
Yeah, these are amazingly low.
Good
So she's got
God.
4. 4 total.
You sink deeper and take a point of harm. Brannoc, is there anything you could do to stop that happening by helping?
I mean, I imagine I'll kind of like rush in, seeing everyone sort of sink in, and I'll just say sort of like, "Oh, ye of little faith," and I'll just kind of like, invoke the good word of St. Peter as he's, walking on water. Christ trying to sort of help him through his difficulties, and I'll just sort of, reach out a hand and try to pull him up back into the boat, as it were.
Okay, I think that's an act of faith on your part.
I love that.
So I think this is you are rolling with soul.
Perfect.
Roll plus soul to help another hero.
Okay.
In this area, soul has a disadvantage. Unholy bog.
Does.
So what does that mean? I'd roll 3 and
dice,
take
the bottom 2, but
Oh,
add
okay.
soul.
All right,
Or
fair
do you
enough.
go with steel?
But maybe I'll go with steel and just sort
Fine.
of have it as flavor, I guess. I don't know.
Fine.
We'll do it. It'd also help me with experience. So anyway, I'll roll plus steel. But anyway, I get a -1 regardless. So it doesn't really matter. It's all just minuses. It's minuses. Let's see. Well, there you go. Hard to the Christ is with me because I rolled a 12, but -1
Tell
is
you what,
11.
that is remarkable.
Yeah.
That increases the fail to a mixed success.
Okay.
Meaning that you do it. But I'm going to have you mark another harm getting out of that hole, Sadhbh. I think that's the simplest thing I can do.
Got it. So that was Brannoc was helping Sadhbh get pulled out.
Yeah, turned your fail into a mixed success. And appeared to just walk into the bog and drag you out.
Invoking the name of Christ and St. Peter. But,
of course, of course. And I think now we just have to get Wulfwynn out. What's the plan?
Do I check off risk death because I'm now dying?
You did. You do. Sorry, you do. Or is that the cliffhanger we leave this on?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So
Are we going to
is
remember
dragged
Wulfwynn is
free,
the bog?
and
Yeah, I'm in the bog.
Wulfwynn is still in the bog. Cynderyn has tried and may have to try again.
Well, I mean, I can explain why that failed so miserably, because Brannoc showed up and yelled about Christ, and I just flinched. Right, that. Ugh.
Love it, love it. So we will come back next time. I tell you what, I can't be doing with that kind of slightly lame. Both of you in a bog is a cliffhanger. One person in a bog is just a delay. So I will give you success at a cost. It'll just cost you 1 harm to be dragged out of there by the other 3, Wulfwynn. And then what we leave it with is all of you slumped beside this bog while Brannoc tells you, truly, the Christ is with us today.
That means I'm dying, though.
Well, then mark dying, mark risk of death.
Okay.
And we'll pick up with you all in a terrible state at dawn the following day. Okay, fine.
Alan, I'm sorry to interrupt. So if we've checked off the mark as an aid end of session experience, if we checked off all 3, we get an extra box. Is that right?
I was just going to come back round and go through end of session. So let's start with Sadhbh because it's a good example, right? And illustrative for you, Sean, in terms of where we are. So we're down on row 26. Mark as an aid memoir for end of session experience. So Sadhbh helped herself by invoking her standing, so she gets a tick in that box. Her burden put her at risk. All that wrath and pride and all that shit storming off, marching into a bog, tick, and addressed a challenge mystically, tick. What Sadhbh now does is to erase all of those and mark 3 experience points. They're worth 1 each. Yeah. So that means that you will get an advancement, Sadhbh, and 1 in the pot. Yeah. Okay. So let me go to let's talk about Brannoc. Yeah. So help yourself by invoking your standing. I think you did. Didn't you invoke your lunacy?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did when I was, yeah.
Okay, so there's a tick in there. Put yourself at risk by telling the truth as you see it. I think you did.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you said, yeah, I can put it in the book. I can summon
I can
it.
do it.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that other people helped it come off is by the by.
Okay.
And you certainly addressed challenges with irrationality.
Okay, I feel like I did.
Yeah. So you marked all three, erase them and mark 3 XP.
Okay.
Yeah. And once you put a tick in subtle next time, you will erase all those attribute ticks and add another XP. Okay. Let's look at Wulfwynn. Address the challenge with knowledge. Yes, you did. Put yourself at rest by drawing attention to yourself. I don't know if you did this time, did you?
Not with like a move, but I was trying to get the demon to come down and attack me because we were both sort of going, come out.
You did. I'll give you the benefit of that one. Yeah. Help yourself by invoking your standing. I don't think you did.
I don't think I did, no.
Okay, erase those, give yourself 2 XP. And I noticed that all 4 of your attributes are marked.
Mm-hmm.
So that erase those, another XP. And then let us come along to Cynderyn. Invoked your seeming. Yes, you did. Your burden put you at risk. Greed. Yes, I think it did.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted that wing thing. That's my attack.
I'm not sure you addressed a challenge with
No,
deception.
I'm not sure either. I forgot to look at that, but I should have done that.
So
I can do that next time.
Exactly. You can deceive everybody you like. So erase those 2 and mark 2 XP. And have you really only used steel tonight?
No, I've rolled over. I just marked the XP from the 4 stats and then erased the whole thing.
Fine. Okay.
Started off with steel again.
So all is good. Let's take a pause there. I'd like a quick 5-minute stars and wishes, if that's okay. So let me go right to left, which is the way I started. Sabine, any stars, any wishes for next time? More of, less of, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, stars for all the other characters. They were all awesome. I really like Brannoc and this babbling and this little holy man running around trying to bring Christ to everybody. And these other 3 people who don't want no part of that. That is very lovely. And I loved Sadhbh giving in to all of her burdens, pride, anger, amazing, just rushing out because she's pissed. That was fun. And Wulfwynn just very, very stable and delightful. And I liked having her cling to a tail with me. And I also enjoyed the whole, I'm rescuing her, clutch. I'm sorry. And I really hope you'll roll better next time. So yeah, that's the star. And of course, stars to the whole situation that we encountered. That was a lot of fun with that demon. And wishes. I want to deceive someone. Please. Of course, that's my decision. So. I would like to
take the horse to water.
Yeah,
I would like watch them plunge into the bog.
Yeah, but, yeah, probably not going to work, but we'll see.
Well, it's an aid. It's a note to self, if nothing else. Okay. Moving along. Blake, any stars, any wishes?
It's all good. Everybody had a sort of a solid idea of their character, and we all just ran with it, and that was good. Everybody was just going with it, and yeah, it is just good all around.
I'm curious whether because it's technically a 2-shot, whether that inclination to just go for it is influencing you or not. I'm just curious. Any wishes for next time?
Yeah, more of the same, I guess.
Okay. What about you, Chris? Any stars, any wishes?
Oh yeah. Sean, you did a great job jumping in with Brannoc, making yourself seamless. Really appreciate the extra flavor you gave a character so that we could tie in together, do some hooks. The beginning, Cynderyn, I just thought was really fun with his little trinkets. I feel like this is the second time I played with you, Sabine, or the 3rd session. I can't remember at this point. I think 3rd. And I just like how you if you don't mind me saying so, you find something and you kind of grab onto it and go. Like, it's kind of inspiring. Your characters are very focused on something. I really appreciate that. And then Wulfwynn, I really appreciated you checking in on Sadhbh. Even though Sadhbh was being so brusque and bristly, it's like I still feel that kinship personally. Like, the 2 of them spent some time together, and I appreciate that you do that despite my playing her as being kind of a jerk. And Alan, I really enjoyed this. It was very different than the last one. This was a much more of a monster fight. The last one we kind of sprawled a bunch, and they were both great in their own ways. I really enjoyed it. I'd say wishes, maybe get someone, we're already near death, get somebody really close to death. You know, it could be Sadhbh, right? Like I feel like this is the dark moment, the second season for Sadhbh, and she's pissed, and it's okay if she goes near death or dies. I mean, I don't really want her to die, but I think it just will make it interesting if we've really got somebody who's in a bad way. So it looks like we're headed there already.
Yeah, I'm not sure you need help from me. And finally, Sean, any stars, any wishes?
Yeah, I mean, everyone did an amazing job. I thought it was, the kind of parlay between the kind of sole Christian character and all the other pagans. I think it was, really kind of awesome and such a sort of like funny dynamic to watch. Chris, yeah, Sadhbh is, I think, amazing, and the like little parlay we had in the beginning was quite cool, and I really loved how you kind of like pulled in my character into your character. It's always great when we kind of get like a group dynamic going. And then Sabine, the changeling aspect of your character is so like subtle, even in the language that you use and how you're kind of evoking, your kind of speech and stuff. I don't know why. I just sort of feel the deception. Even if you didn't deceive anyone, I feel like I was deceived somehow. And then
deceive everyone.
Yeah,
You all think I'm immortal.
Yeah.
You poor fools.
And then Blake, I loved how you just like laughed off all the bad rolls. I think it's awesome when we can roll terribly through like an entire session and still have a great time. And sort of
That's
feel
most sessions of this game.
and just feel like the negative is really like a positive in a certain sense, because it makes more interesting stuff. Like if we just do everything successfully, then I don't know, it's not a very interesting story. And then Alan, the villain, the sort of creature-esque demon, I thought was kind of amazing, and pulling it all together with the group combo. For wishes, I guess just to see more of the locations. They seemed like so the stinking and the dark and the deep, and they all seem so evocative, and so it'd be nice to kind of like get to some of those other spots.
Yeah, I think that I can imagine a way to get you to at least two others. Whether we do the full circuit, I don't know, but I certainly will try. Yeah, stars for me. Sean, lovely to play with you. And Brannoc is great. You hit the ground running with Brannoc. Thank you for that. Cynderyn, Sabine, I like it. Sean's right. There's something about the demeanor somehow that you communicate for Cynderyn that makes him seem slightly fey as well as slightly fey. It's lovely. Blake, Wulfwynn, I feel guilty on behalf of the dice roller, but it has generated some fantastic stuff. So thank you for rolling with it, because it can begin to feel very wearing when, particularly without no XP on a fail. And Chris, yeah, I am enjoying the way that you are using the system. You are stretching the system, seeing where it will go, and that's really helpful in development. And giving the opportunity to be really nasty to you as the old gods, because how dare you get into bed with another bunch of deities? How dare you call yourself, a pagan Christian, a pagan Britain? Wait until we get you home. So thank you all. With that, I will stop the recording.